Hello and welcome to the main stage productions here at the Miskatonic Playhouse. I'm T.A. Newman, your host and keeper of tonight's game. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write adventures for others to play. We'd like to thank Sirenscape, whose tools have provided the background sounds that you hear. And if you'd like to become a friend of the Playhouse, then please support us on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse, where you can gain access to exclusive shows and content for as little as £1. Our investigators have been tasked with fixing the wife of brash oil magnate and burger restaurant owner Sam Madson. They dine at the Burger Castle and hear how Mrs. Anna Madson is beset with visions of dark creatures who foretell of her husband, Mr. Madson's death. Upon arrival at the plush homestead, they hear a scream and the howl of a terrible hound inside. But now it's time to pull back the curtain and roll the dice. And welcome back to the Miskatonic Playhouse for Act 2. Dun dun dun! The Castle of Greed. So we left off the investigators right here, getting out a car. You hear a howl. Oh, that's a howl, by the way. But this howl terrifies you. It seeps into your spine. It rattles your ribs. It shakes you up and down. And this is late evening, so it's dark outside. So any noise other than the sound of children playing, actually, that's also terrifying at nighttime. But this sound is significant because it's immediately followed by a woman's voice from the house that you are directly approaching. And you hear that voice. No, no, oh God, no, not that smile, not that smile.
Sent it on. That sounds like Anna. We need to move quickly. Wendy, do you have the keys to the house? We need to find out what's wrong.
I am full paralyzed in what the fuck is happening in my life right now. For someone that's completely like dialed in, hyper focused, very attentive between the scream and the scream. It's hit or miss on whether or not I hear you at all because I'm just staring forward like and my hands are beginning to shake.
I take Wendy's face in my hand.
We both grab her. No, we both do it. That's what I
just walked her to the door.
Yeah, perfect.
You got to come back to me, Wendy. Come on.
Yes, and I'll stumble, I'll fumble through, I'll set the keys
can you give me a constitution roll? I feel like, playing into your character here with these guys kind of grabbing you and moving you across that. I feel like there's something going on.
Are you punishing me for good role play? I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is delicious. We should do this more often.
Did I
That is a 34 under 60 regular
me?
success.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But I'll burn the luck if you tell me to.
To fail?
No.
No, Bridgett, this is absolutely perfect. Well, I think what happens is, and I'm happy actually, I think Christina and Dr. McDonald, Wendy is in a moment of shock here because everything rides on this for her with this business, this interaction. She's been put in charge of this because Sam's too busy. So Christina and Vina, how you tell me how this goes?
I think that we march her up to the door, like basically frog marching either side, and then like when she doesn't open the door, Christina doesn't panic. Her smile just grows larger, and she raises her eyes and she looks at Vina, expecting her to do something psychiatry-ish.
I slap her so that she can snap out of it, woman. We need to get into this house, and obviously you're in some sort of temporary, brief, acute psychosis. Wendy, come on, Wendy, come back. Come back, girl.
Like, was that a wolf? Is she hurt? Is that a coyote? There's not coyotes in this side of town. Bow.
There's a dog or something, but Wendy, we have to. She's screaming. She's obviously in distress. I must get up there with my morphine immediately.
We don't have time for this. I'm going to break the door down.
Yes! And Wendy, I'm pretty sure you just lost 24 hit points from Dr. McDonald just slapping you repeatedly. Reverend, please give us a strength roll, combat roll. What do you want to do here?
I can give you strength or size would probably make sense. I can't really do it with appearance. That would be my
although
smile winningly.
So charming. You can cut the door in half.
The door faints before you.
I think go with
the door and Glasgow kiss.
Yeah, let's go with strength. I feel like this is I think we'll take your size into account, but I think this is a stomp and push, perhaps.
Okay, so versus 61, I got a 55. Yes! That's a success.
Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so Reverend, tell us how you go through this door like as if it's a piece of paper.
I think he'll roll up his sleeves, he'll take a run up, and he'll actually kind of do that thing that bulls do, you know, when they kind of like scratch against the floor very briefly, and then just go full, not quite headlong in, but at the last second, he'll turn his shoulder into it. I think he maybe played a bit of football during his college days, and then takes this door down.
God, the Reverend's the full package, the smile, the charm. He's an ex-football player. He's got a reliable job. My God.
Well, I don't want to say all this. I don't like to toot my own horn, or at least not too much. You know what I mean?
So you go slamming through this door. When you go through, the first thing you see on the other side of the door is a maid, as she screams as the door comes down and crashes, because it doesn't with that roll, strength roll. Actually, to be fair, with that strength roll, the door kind of like buckles and it kind of slams open against the side. So it doesn't come off the hinges, but it does whip around and slam. And as you do that, there is you see this maid at the bottom of the stairs. She's wearing your very traditional black and white. It's very recognizable as a maid, and she's got this two towels in her hands. And as the door slams open, she kind of goes, ah! And the towels go up.
There's no need to worry. We're doing God's work here. We're here to do God's work. Don't worry at all.
Oh my! But
Miss Madison, where is she?
She's upstairs, Reverend. I'm just going up to. She's Reverend.
Lead the way, by all means. Lead the way.
Okay. She kind of picks up the towels and runs upstairs, and then gets to and this is a grand house, by the way. I should be saying this: hard wooden floors, beautiful banisters, staircase, very opulent, wonderful artwork around. You know, this is obviously it's money. You know, you get the sense of, you know, lots and lots of money here. And the maid runs up and kind of brings you to these beautiful doors, these wonderful door handles, gold varnished door handles. And she kind of puts her hand on it and then turns to you, Reverend, and goes, "But she's." Miss Anna was trying to sleep, Reverend. I know she's having bad dreams, and
she's not sleeping now. There's a dog in there. We all heard it, didn't we? Doctor, Christine, Wendy. Wasn't just me. There's
Absolutely.
A dog there.
We need to get up there now. Hurry up! Go!
She opens the doors to the bedroom, and you're all just standing there. These are like double doors, and the double doors just kind of swing open, and you're standing there, and you just see Anna kind of sitting in bed, knees up with the covers up to her, and she's just crying. Can I ask you all to give me a spot hidden, please?
Ooh.
Versus 25, that's an 85. That's fail.
A fail for Dr. Vina McDonald as well.
Okay, well, that looks like...
It's 35 versus 25.
Woo, perfect. We all failed.
Excellent.
We all failed.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us for Castle of Greed. We'll end the scenario there. No, you go into this room, and what you see is, I'll tell you what you see, actually. Even with those wonderful failures across the board there, it's nice to see a sea of red. What happens is, as you go in, the maid opens the doors. She immediately runs over to Anna, who's sitting in the bed. And this is a huge bed, and she looks tiny, kind of sitting in the middle. What you can see is she's scared. The maid goes over with these towels, and immediately she starts kind of like dabbing her forehead with one of the towels. You can see that she's She's sweating. She's got these bags under her eyes. She's kind of frantically looking around the room. She sees you. She sees you, and she almost kind of reaches out a hand. Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, Christina, Reverend. Dr. McDonald.
McDonald, yes.
I apologize. I didn't really want you to see me like this. Please, I apologize. Would you? She takes a second, takes a breath. Would you mind giving me a moment? And I completely understand the intrusion, and I thank you for your care. If you were to give me a moment to make myself presentable, I will join you downstairs in the drawing room, where perhaps we could. And the maid kind of finishes. I'll bring a glass of lemonade round for everybody.
Are you sure you don't need something to calm you down, sweetie? Just start rummaging through my medical bag. I have a number of things here that could help you. Capsules.
No, I'm fine. I think it best if doctor, maybe after the event. I feel right now I need to tell you what I need to tell you before I take anything that might affect my ability to tell you what I need to. If you just give me 2 minutes, I'll get myself together.
So the Reverend is like walking around the room at this point. I'm basically looking for this dog, and he will glance over and go, "Oh, well, of course, I understand you want to be presentable, but we also want you to be safe. We heard some wild animal in here, and we heard you shouting."
As you're going around the room now, unfortunately, you failed your spot hidden. So I'm
willing to push that roll.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, I like it. So how are we pushing this roll, Reverend? So you've got this distraught woman of a very reputable married status in a house. You're a Reverend. There's lots of people watching. How do you propose to push this roll?
Well, I think rather than like just standing in the middle and looking, he's going to start looking under things. He's going to look under the bed. He's going to open the wardrobe. I mean, he's going to do it. He's not going to like fling open the show doors. He will just sort of open it within. But he is looking for an animal. Like this is what he's thinking. He'll look out the window, I guess.
I like this. So I suppose the negative side of this is that this is going to, if you fail, this is going to be seen as quite an intrusion of privacy.
I mean, versus 25.
Oh.
Yeah, you got this.
Okay, let's do it. So versus 25, I got an 83. Oh dear.
Okay. It's the maid. The maid, that comes over to you, and she almost grabs you by the wrist. Not in a way to hurt you, but in a way that is very kind of like, Reverend, if you wouldn't mind, my lady has asked for a bit of privacy, and you seem to be walking around here as if this is your chapel. Reverend, this is inappropriate.
Now, young lady, I'm not here looking for this lady's undergarments. I'm looking here for an animal that was trying to hurt her. Did you not hear it? We all heard it, right? All of us.
I did hear a dog, yes.
Well,
did you not hear it?
We may have well heard a dog, but there is clearly not a dog in this room, and Miss Anna has asked for some privacy, and I think that all of you should do her the decency to give her some privacy. At that point, Anna actually kind of goes, no, Clara, no, please, 2 minutes. Let me get myself together. I'll calm down. I promise.
Newman?
Yeah.
What does the room smell like?
Ooh.
Does it smell stuffy? Are the windows open? Does it smell like there has been drug use of any kind? Am I smelling meat sweat?
Wet dog.
Wet dog.
I really like where you're going with this. I would say this would need to be a pushed roll, because we've just done a spot hidden, which was failed, and this is identifying those other aspects of the room, like smell, or looking for any key things. I think it's a really good line of investigation, but I'm going to ask you for a push roll.
I'm not pushing that roll my spot hidden as 25. I just wanted to know what it
Only a
smelled like.
fool would do that.
Yeah, and everyone was banned from the house within 30 seconds. Okay,
Well, case closed.
okay. I'll tell you what then, because I think it's a really good line of inquiry. Is there another skill that you might want to use there? Because for the idea of, because I think the smell thing is great.
Sure. Can I argue that I'm specifically trying to figure out anything that would be used in occult practices for the
Yes, you
smell?
can.
So I'm trying
Yes,
to
you can.
pick up.
There you
So
go.
that
Damn.
is an 80 over 71. So it just smells funky in here.
Unless you'd like to use some luck.
It feels. No, let's leave it.
Okay. There's definitely, I wouldn't say there's anything pungent. I wouldn't say there's anything too, almost recognizable, herb-like, or jostick kind of thing. There's nothing like that you'd kind of pinpoint, but there is a scent. But nothing too overpowering. Nothing that you would that anybody else would raise an eyebrow over. And I think on that roll as well, that's probably where, as far as we can go with that.
Keeper, quick question, just as a point of clarification. We got out of the vehicle, and I know that we heard her scream from the room. Did we actually hear that dog howl coming from inside the house, or was it just in the area?
Good question.
That is a good question. I'm going to tell you that not for being a lazy keeper, but for reasons.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I did it. For reasons you're not actually sure. It was the quick succession of the howl, which made you all physically kind of tingle, and then the scream. The scream most definitely came from this room, which has an open window, which is why you heard the scream.
But the howl we're not able to determine. Okay. She's
And
asked for 2 minutes. May we please leave the room?
Yes, I think that would be fine.
Thank you, Miss Levine. I'll take you down to the drawing room and get anybody a glass of lemonade or a cup of tea. Please follow me if you will. And Clara, the maid, will take you downstairs. She'll take you to the drawing room. You can see upstairs there's a number of other rooms. It's a very large house. Takes you downstairs, again, very opulent, hard floors, beautiful. You go into the drawing room, lots of lovely chairs around, kind of bookcases and things. You've got a minute or two. The maid kind of says, would anybody like a drink specifically? Or are you happy for me to bring in a jug of lemonade?
You have Pepsi?
I'm sure a Pepsi from Mr. Madson's personal stash would be very much in the guest's best interest. So yes, yes, ma'am, I can get you a Pepsi.
What's the weather like? Like, are we in the middle of summer? Is it boiling hot? Is it like what's?
It's
December.
actually it's December, but it is okay weather. It's not
Nice.
it's not like cold. You might have a jacket, but it's more for just a little bit of wind in that. It's not, you're not walking around freezing or anything along those lines.
I mean, it's May here in England. I'm freezing. I'll have a tea, please. A nice warm tea would do fine.
A Pepsi and a tea, Dr. McDonald.
Yeah, perhaps you could get me a glass of water and just pour some of Mrs. Hardee's Pepsi into that water. I like it just a splash of Pepsi in a lot of water, just a little bit of flavor. Otherwise, it's too spicy.
It's a 3-to-1 ratio.
3-to-1 ratio of Pepsi diluted in water. Of course, Dr. McDonald. That seems totally reasonable. Wendy,
Tea,
would
please.
you like anything? Tea. And Clara kind of scuttles off, and you're left alone for a moment.
Well, that was curious, wasn't it?
Was.
Strange. How could she come down so fast after it sounded like someone was murdering her?
Or maybe she'll elucidate the situation in a few moments, but this is very strange.
And that dog, the dog that you were asking about, we all heard it. It was terrifying. It shook all of us. And
mean,
it was just one. Now it's gone.
could it have maybe been in the garden, perhaps, or further away than it originally transpired?
It was very loud.
Might I add a point of clarity and specificity? I don't know if we know exactly it was a dog. It was a howl. Could we say feral howl, perhaps? That could have been a coyote, a wolf, a dog. It could have been a person. We don't know it was a dog, correct?
Person.
And Miss Levine, does the family have a pet? Maybe a large dog that they, have loafing around the house?
Keeper, do I know this household to have a pet?
It does not have a pet.
No, sir. No, Reverend. They don't have a pet.
Well,
I also just wanted to remind, she made a statement about the smile. We all heard that, correct? Like not that smile or not his smile or their smile. There's something with a smile, correct? I just want to make sure with all the emotions flying around that we actually have an articulated list of facts.
Was there a mirror in the bedroom? Large mirror?
From when you were in the room, you could see that there was a mirror and it was over a dresser that was over to the right side of the bed. Very opulent, but nothing, nothing, no extreme sized mirror. The stairs, the hard wooden stairs, you hear now that Anna is coming down the stairs. You know Clara's in the kitchen or some such pantry or wherever getting drinks and things for you. But you can now hear shoes coming down the stairs slowly, carefully, considered, and eventually Anna appears in the doorway. She looks so tired. Huge dark rings under her eyes. You can see the shake in her hands, the uncertainty of her own physicality. You can see that this is a person who is an absolute ball of distress. You can see that this is a person who is so anxious and upset, but also trying their best to hide it in the same way that a drunk moves around so horrifically poorly because they're trying so hard to look like that they can move, to look like they can stand still. You're seeing someone here who is trying so hard to not look like they are anxious, tired, broken. They're working really, really hard to put on a good face here.
Oh, my dear, please do take a seat. You must be exhausted.
Oh, well, thank you, Reverend. I appreciate your kind gesture. I will. I'll just sit here in the armchair. And she kind of goes over to the middle. There's lots of chairs around as well. You're all welcome to find your space. They all kind of look together to this almost like it's a mix between a meeting table and an ornate coffee table. And she sits in a really comfortable armchair, and you can see that the size that she is compared to the person who could sit in this chair, she almost kind of like falls over to half of the side of the chair and leans against the side. I'm so glad that you're all here. I feel a bit silly that you've all had to come here for me. But thank you. Christina.
I take her hand and hold it and put my hand over her hand and smile and listen attentively.
So when you put your hand on her hand, firstly, she's cold, but also, she looks thinner. She's looking like a bag of bones compared to the Anna you know. Yeah, she's an outdoorsy kind of person. She loves being out and about and, out in the wild. But now, God, you couldn't imagine her going out for a walk, in the wilderness, nature reserves, down the lake. This is someone, they look so frail they couldn't bloody walk around the house without help.
She could do with a burger.
Indeed. But you take her hand. Christina, oh, my dear Christina, I'm so pleased you're here. Um, there are terrible things afoot, and I need someone to see what I've seen. I've explained it. I tried talking to Sam. I've spoken to Sam so many times.
Newman.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were having with your sentence.
No.
You have previously stated that I can see auras.
That you can see
What
what?
is her aura
Oh,
like?
I see. Sorry, auras. Give me that power roll, please. Yeah, keeper, you gave me power. I'd like to use it. I'm gonna
use it. Yes.
67 under 80.
Like a pale blue.
Hmm.
This is something you may have encountered before, perhaps not this particular shade, but whenever you have, it's been centered around. Actually, do you know? The pale blue has often been centered around loss or a failing. You may have noticed it in anybody from a Wall Street banker who's going through an incredibly tough run to a homeless person. But it's this idea of loss. But there's something else in that aura, like a flicker of something. You almost, by the time you try and look at it, it's almost in your periphery that when you try and look at it, it's not there. When you try and look at it over there, it's not there. But you can kind of just see it, just playing on the outside of your field of aura vision.
What have you lost, darling?
Christina, it's not what I've lost. It's what I'm gonna lose. Sam. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Maybe, oh, I'm sorry. And doctor, I know you been trying to give me something for my nerves. I feel perhaps if I were to tell you what I saw in my vision. And when she says vision, she looks around, she looks at the Reverend, she looks at the doctor, she looks at Christina, she looks at you, Wendy, as well. She's trying to see whether people either empathize with her when she says vision, or whether they believe her, or whether they sneer at her. But she's firmly committed to this idea. I saw something. I've seen something. Doctor, maybe after I tell you what I saw, I would be more inclined to take something to calm down.
That's understandable. Yes, get it off your chest, young lady. What have you seen? What makes you think that your husband is going to die?
Well, I don't think he's going to die, Doctor. I've seen it. It's horrible. But I must say where it all began. You may not know, but I work at the El Dorado Lake. Conservation, nature is what I love. Sam has always supported me in that. He's always cared for me, and you know he knows how important this work is for me. I sometimes stay until later in the evening finishing up paperwork, and I'm usually tired. And since Sam bought that place, I've been having these encounters. First, I hear a howling, but it's not like the coyotes howl. I mean, this is something different. I mean, I yelped once, but no one could hear me. Then I saw him, man, wearing a cloak. Maybe a hood. I couldn't see clearly. Perhaps I mean that's at least what I was telling myself. She kind of stops for a minute. And she almost gathers her strength to carry on, physically and emotionally. The truth is, I did see him. I saw him. And I know it makes me sound mad. Maybe I am mad. He smiled at me with a wide, toothed, terrifying grin, covered in flames. Is that even possible? And then everything went dark. She closes her eyes. She puts a hand over her head, over her face. And then, almost out of this sobbing moment of trying to recall herself, recoil back into this moment, her voice rises in this. She pulls herself back in, and I can't see. And then, like in a dream, I saw the most horrific vision I could ever imagine. I see my husband, Sam, and he's looking unwell, older maybe, but maybe not. I look around. He's at that horrible hamburger place that he bought. It's late at night. He's using a deep fat fryer. I mean, he doesn't work there. I don't see no uniform. No, he's there because he's hungry. And he's cooking for himself to feed himself. Oh, I'm getting a sick quizzy feeling in my stomach. And then, oh my God, his arm. He puts his arm in the fryer. And he is hurting, and I can feel it. And she's clutching at her own arm as she's saying this, and you can see that she's reliving this moment. He doesn't put it out. Why? Wait, no. He does. He pulls out his arm, and he bites into it. Oh my God! Stop! He's eating himself. And she holds back for a second, and you kind of see that she's stopping herself from throwing up. She's stopping herself from regurgitating. Oh my God, there's blood everywhere, but he can't stop. And then his eyes roll back, and his teeth are clenched, and he falls to the floor, and he's dead. He's dead. All I know is that this Sam doesn't get rid of this awful, dreadful place. This will happen. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it. I know he's in danger. You have to help. She just falls into this uncontrollable sobbing. You can see that she has been in this state before. This is now a familiar pattern for her, and she is sobbing, breathing, sobbing, breathing. She's in pieces.
Has she changed? Like when you said she spent a few minutes just getting ready, is she wearing like a dressing gown, or has she got dressed? Like, is there kind of a change in her attire or her presence just in those sort of few minutes?
So she's put a very easy to put on kind of like slip gown, and then she's got a cardigan on top of that. And she's put some shoes on. She's tried to make an effort. She's clearly combed her hair, very minimal makeup. It's not really a huge amount of makeup isn't really Anna's thing anyway. But she's just put enough on to try and convince everybody that she's fine. You all feel that maybe the cardigan is there for her, not just for comfort, but to maybe hide herself. For those of you that have seen her, Reverend, at the church, Christina, from your friendship here, Wendy from the last few days, she's dropped some pounds.
What a striking contrast to her husband. Anna, I am so sorry. What horrible visions you've been beset with. It's absolutely terrible. And that is what they are. They're visions, they're dreams, they're nightmares. They're not anything real. You don't need to worry about poor Sam. He's obviously taken with this new place, as it were. Like he's obviously enjoys his food, and maybe this change in his appetite is changing the feelings inside your brain and giving you these visions and dreams, but it is nothing to worry about.
As the Reverend qualifies this, clearly as not believing, can I just ask across the group, does anybody believe that these visions are true?
Well, I
Christina
was,
definitely does.
yeah, I don't. I was going to,
Doctor, we're going to come to you in a second, I promise.
Yes.
We're going to come right back to you. Wendy believes, Christina believes, the doctor doesn't. The Reverend's already disqualified them as potential dreams. With everything that's happened, with the howl, the scream, the burger joint, Sam's behavior, your involvement in this, seeing Christina, listening to this story, Christina and Wendy, could you both give me, in fact, actually, you all need to give me a sanity roll, please.
That's a success for me.
Excellent. So you lose 1 point of sanity there, please. Reverend.
59 versus 55. That's a failure.
Oh, that is a failure. Can I ask you to give me a 1d3, please?
I can do that.
And
that's a 3.
Oh, that's 3 points of sanity, I'm afraid. So even in your disqualification of it, there are things here that are haunting you.
Maybe why he disqualified it.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Vina.
Cards.
Oh, sorry. Doctor.
No.
Mine was a failure as well.
Failure. Yours is a 1d3, please, because you don't believe it, but you have failed that roll. And Christina?
Hard success.
Oh, hard success. I'm afraid that still is 1 point of sanity, possibly due to your care and consideration of the lovely Anna. Doctor, you were, before I rudely interrupted you for sanity rolls, you were about to solve this entire thing?
I was. The burgers did it all along. No, what I was going to say was that, well, I don't necessarily believe that these things are real. Sometimes what our mind perceives and what our mind thinks is real, and these visions that Anna is seeing, they are becoming real for her, and they're negatively affecting her, obviously her body, because she thinks that to her they are real, even if obviously they are not at all. So it is having a real impact on her because she believes it so strongly. And look at the girl. She does not look well. Sorry to speak, about you in front of you, Anna.
She's slowly kind of pulling herself. I can show you.
Show us. Show us. Anna, show us. You are strong. I'm here. You can do this.
I drew a picture.
A picture?
Show us. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here for you.
Would someone mind going up to my room? Not my room. Sorry. Sam took them. He put them in his study.
I'll go.
Wendy, thank you, my dear.
I'm on my heels and I'm off. I know where his study is. I'll go.
Okay, so Wendy goes off up to the room, and it'll be a minute there. In fact, actually, Wendy, we'll follow you for a second, and we'll come back to Christina, Dr. Vina, and the Reverend Earnest. Wendy, we follow you. Do you go directly to the study?
Yes, direct path.
Okay, so you go into the study, and Sam's study. You've been in there a few times with him. Obviously, you've been in there. Kind of regulating accounts and looking at things and getting numbers and addresses and contracts, etc., etc. So you know where things go. Can you give me a spot hidden? And this isn't just about success now. This is about let's say a sliding scale of what we see.
No, I absolutely love it. That is a success, 32 under 45.
Okay. So there's two things you notice here. One is an open book, which seems it's just been opened in the middle, and it seems that this is the drawing that Anna has done, and you find it on the table, and this is that drawing.
Oh, yep. It sure is.
Um, but what's unusual is you also see in this study, in Sam's study, you also see that there's a letter that it's it's in like a it looks like it's been cared for considerably. The reason you notice it is because it's in one of the smaller locked drawers, but the smaller locked drawer has been opened and this letter is on the desk. So it's something that you might assume that Sam has recently had out to look at. And the drawer is still half open. So you see this letter. Could I ask you to read it, please, Wendy?
You most certainly can, babe, as soon as I can. Up. Yes, look at God. Do I want to throw my glasses on for this one? Yep. So me stressing myself out on this damn read. Let's rock. Okay, so I look at the drawing. My attention is pulled to this letter that is out of this drawer. And just as I kind of like spread my fingers over it, I'm reading this out loud to myself. Dear Sam, now that I'm gone, it is finally time that you learn the truth. You always wondered how fortune always seemed to smile on me and not you. It was more than just my superior business acumen. It was my time. And now that I'm gone, it's yours. You see, success is in our blood, son. It has been for generations. All you have to do is sign your name in the ledger you'll receive alongside this letter. This is important. In order for the ritual to work, you have to sign it in blood. Your blood. Then it will all be sealed. Your business will flourish beyond compare. Everything you touch will turn into gold. There's a small price to this, of course. You will want it. You will want to gain and grow more than you ever could imagine. But I think you already do, so what's the harm? I tell you, my son, it will be worth it. After all this time, I will be proud of you. Yours, even in death. Your father, Gregory Madson.
And in that half open drawer, Wendy, you can see a red leather bound ledger.
You know we're going to pull it out, Keeper, because we have to verify whether or not Sam Marston has signed this ledger in blood.
I was going to say, no one's around. No one's
gotta look.
peering over your shoulder. Okay, so you take out this ledger, you open it, and you can see that, oh, there are dates. They date back relatively long ago, into the early 1800s.
Wow. Okay.
And you can see the Madson name time and time and time and time again until you see Sam's father's name. Then, in Sam's handwriting, which you know because you've seen his signature so many times, Sam Madson has signed this in what one would call a slightly brown red type of ink.
May I confirm the date on this signature?
Oh,
3 days ago.
It's just beyond
Okay.
You are aware in terms of the recent dates. You know that 3 days ago, it was the acquisition of the Burger Castle. Prior to that, you're aware that maybe over the last just beyond 3 weeks, that Sam's father passed away, and there's been some legal inheritance that's come through. You've never seen this ledger before or this letter, but that drawer has always been locked.
Okay. I'm going to take a moment to debate. No, I'm not. I immediately collect all of this information. And I'm going to put everything in the satchel. That's going to be this very eerie ass drawing that you have in the middle of my face. It's going to be the ledger and that letter. I'm going to collect all of it, put it in our satchel, and then I'm going to exit the office or exit the study and head back down to the group.
Brilliant. Just while Wendy's doing that upstairs, is there anything Christina, the doctor, or the Reverend would like to either say to each other or to Anna? Your drinks have been brought out as well. Sorry.
Christina has a new theory.
Oh.
Banner.
Cthulhu at 10.
So, clearly, she is losing weight and he is gaining weight. He is somehow stealing her life essence. It has to be. There is no other reason. There's no other explanation. I don't think we can try and feed her, but I don't think it'll work. And she's sort of whispering this to Dr. McDonald and the Reverend quite quietly in a corner. We can try and make it work, but in these situations where we have to figure out what is linking the two of them, maybe there is some kind of leather-bound contract or something that is causing this to happen. If we find it, we have to immediately destroy it.
What is it you do again, Miss Hardee?
I'm an occultist. I find patterns.
Of course.
You make money doing
I'm a
this.
God-fearing Christian occultist. Don't you worry, Reverend. I just believe there's more out there than just one book.
Anna, and he's just going to kind of walk away from Miss Hardee for a moment. You said that you when we were just arriving, we heard you call out something about a smile. Oh, do you remember? Were you asleep? Can you?
Reverend, I apologize. I was having a bad dream. One of these visions. This veiled, hooded man with his smile of fire. He speaks to me, Reverend, and I wish he didn't. I renounce him in the name of our Lord. I renounce him, but he speaks to me. He's the one who's telling me that my dear Sam's gonna die, and he's telling me that the only way I can save Sam is if we sell that business back to the owners, the other owners, the people that Sam bought it off.
There would be William and Edward. That's right.
That's right. Nice gentleman, local gentleman, but Edmund Irving and William Andrews. If you could help me convince dear Sammy to sell it back, give up. He seems so bullheaded about it more than anything I've seen. Ever since his father died, his desire has become insatiable for success. He thinks that this restaurant is going to be the future of, well, he's calling it fast food.
Well, I mean, that something like that kind of nonsense won't take off, I'm sure. But you said his father died recently. Can you maybe elucidate more? How did he pass away?
Oh, Reverend,
if you don't mind me asking, of course.
No, absolutely. He was an old man. I mean, he and Sam never got on too well. I mean, Sam always looked up to him, but Sam's oil work. I hope what I'm saying here stays between.
Of course,
friends.
Of course.
Sam, I think there's a role here, Reverend. I'm not sure what it is. Is it a persuade? Is it a charm?
I'll give you a charm versus 70. Oh, 75. That's a fail with 8. I will spend that 5 luck.
There's that luck. That's it. We need to grind that luck out of you. Can't have you at the last minute going, I'll use luck to survive. That would be incredibly awkward and disappointing.
I don't think I've ever been in a Call of Cthulhu scenario where I've had the lowest luck. That would be completely out of character.
Okay, so with this successful charm roll, you do. Anna totally gets that you're asking because you care, or you're at least giving this perception that you really care, as opposed to I'm digging for information. So she does continue to tell you about Sam's father and their relationship. Sam and his papa, Sam always wished that his father loved him the way that a father should. But he was always so distant. He loved his business. Sam's father. He loved his work. He loved making money, and he was all more than happy to give Sam whatever he needed for his oil business and whatever else he tried. But Sam was always on the handouts. I say it because I love him, and I know that he won't like me saying this, but I feel that I can trust you with this, Reverend.
And of course you can. And that's right. And Miss Hardee and Dr. McDonald, this will stay between ourselves, of course. This is a safe space.
Well, as soon as his father died and he inherited his fortune, Sam became instant success. And it is so sad because that's all he ever wanted his father to see in him, was that he was a success.
Well,
it's so sad.
If it makes you and maybe Sam feel better, I'm sure his father is watching down on them and on all of us right now, and maybe that's what he did. It's his final gift was his success.
Well, that might a fine way to think about it, Reverend. I thank you for your kind words.
How did the old man pass on?
Oh, it was a heart attack. It wasn't unexpected. He led a very full life, Reverend. He was a drinker. He ate. Well, he was not like Sam's doing now. I won't worry about Sam. I worry about his heart. He just died of old age, Reverend. If there was no suspicion
nothing
of
that
any,
could have
no untoward activities.
No, nothing that could have impacted Sam more than, of course, losing his father.
I don't think so. And you get the sense she's telling the truth. Yeah, this is a real honest disclosure. She's really kind of opening up here.
You mentioned beyond this kind of hooded figure, as it were, there was a dog.
Yeah, it was at the lake. It's where I had the vision. My work, nature preservation. I've been at the work at the lake, and I was working, and I was in one of the huts. I just had this strange feeling, and the first time this happened, I think Sam was actually at the restaurant, the Burger Castle, signing over the papers, or having the papers signed over to him. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. And I was at the lake because I didn't really want to be there, and I heard those howls. And then I saw that grin and the darkness that surrounded it. And I remember that thing. It said that Sam's going to die unless I can get him to give up the business.
And the Reverend's going a bit pale here. I mean, he did lose some sanity in it. He will say, let's say that this creature, as it were, is more than a vision. It's an actual visitation. Ooh. You cannot be tempted by the devil and his workings. If that is what he is saying to do, then that is what you must not do. He is trying to tempt you. He is trying to get you to do evil and Sam to do the same. If he's saying sell, then you must do the opposite. You must fight him and you must get Sam to do the same. You are strong, Anna. I know you are. I know that you can stand up to this thing, as can your husband.
She's nodding away. She's absolutely kind of nodding, and her hands are tight. She's possibly still even holding one of Christina's hands. She's nodding away. She's nodding away, and she kind of like scans the room as you're talking about this. She's very aware of the mixed company. Her eyes fall on you, Dr. McDonald.
And you're looking around. This hooded figure that you speak of, have they spoke to you since? Are they in this room right now? Do you see them now, Anna?
No, Doctor, I don't see them now. They either come to me when I'm asleep, but like in a nightmare, or I've had the occasional vision where I thought maybe I could have been in a daydream. But it was far. Nobody dreams in the day with something like that. It was a vision. It was a vision. And she kind of looks back at you, Reverend. It was a vision. And then at Christina, I've had this vision. I mean, this is real. This is happening. Sam's life is at stake.
Okay, calm down, Anna. It's okay. Some people do have these visions, as you call them, during the day. There are cures for this, Anna. Things like chemical shock therapy, metrazole. I think that we can take care of this, Anna, if we do determine. Yes, Christina.
Maybe we should summon this demon.
I don't think we should be so.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
I know, but I know a ritual. It always goes amazing, and people always feel better afterwards. It goes so well. I have my drum. I have the herbs in my bag. We could have the most wonderful time, and maybe we could find out more about what Anna's feeling. It would definitely relax her. And she's given like the doctor a wink.
This is very interesting, actually, yes, because I have some
relaxer.
sulfomenthane on me. It's a hypnotic drug, and what we could possibly do is give it to her. And then while the vision is here, we could talk to both of them. And then they could settle it. We could just talk them through it, just like
I'm still here.
Have some sulfomenthane. Oh, yes, of course, Anna.
Anna, this I think this would be a really wonderful thing for us to do. I play the drum, we relax, we sing a little bit. I have some herbs. We boil something up. It's really it's a really wonderful moment, and maybe it would just help you relax a little.
Okay. I do worry here. I am not an expert on exorcism, as it were, although I obviously am familiar with the verses and such, but I worry that we're being too flippant about this. This dealing with...
I am never flippant about voodoo.
And Reverend. I don't think it's a real demon. I think it's in her head, and she has to confront it.
I'm right here.
Or we have to induce epilepsy so that it gets rid of the schizophrenia.
Can I ask then? Because Wendy, I need to know which way you come down on this, because I've got someone who's offering something. I've got somebody else who's supporting it for a potential bonus die, but then I've got somebody else who's countering it for a potential penalty die. And I kind of feel like I need a Wendy to come down here on either side to give me a decision. Where does this go?
Listen, before I give you a decision, I just want you to know I could live in this discussion happening where her just going like, I'm still in the room, guys. I'm right here. I could do that for 10 minutes and just be delighted. So I come into the room and I'm going to kind of catch the tail end of this conversation, not enough to actually parse together exactly what's happening between the three of them. But I am going to look directly at Anna and I'm going to say, you said that you heard it howl and that no one else heard it. We heard it, and I believe you. And then I'm going to lay absolutely everything out. And I mean everything, right in front of her as well. This is going to be the drawing. This is going to be the signed in blood notebook. This is going to be the father's letter. Everything, everyone's at the table, all hands on deck.
So everyone's going to get obviously we'll say here everyone gets the opportunity. You see the drawing, you see the letter, you see the ledger as well. Wendy, you heard the tail end of the conversation about them wanting to do some kind of ritual or something like that.
The very tail
And
end
we
of it,
should
yeah.
burn this ledger.
It's a medical situation. It's a medical procedure.
Think about it as the great feeling of relief that you'll get after we burn this ledger.
Obviously, it's mass psychosis that's happening in this household, and everyone is bought into it.
Wendy,
And if we burn this ledger, we'll release the thing that's connecting them all to the mass psychosis. Exactly, Doctor. I'm glad you agree with me. That's really kind of you.
Oh,
Wendy,
if we
I-
turns
burn,
and looks
yes,
at the other
this
two.
figment of their psychosis, yes, we could get rid of it and prove to them that nothing bad is happening and that it's all in their brains.
Or
I feel
maybe
like
we
this
shouldn't
is
be so
Wendy's
hasty here.
brain.
Maybe we should kind of just take a big step back. We should gather our thoughts and maybe not quite just jump into summoning the devil or maybe feeding this poor woman full of powerful drugs.
Wendy, you're hearing all this. They all look at you. You are essentially the person that's holding their paychecks because you are the connection to Sam. It's almost as if Anna doesn't have a say at this moment.
Poor lamb.
Wendy, do you think to help Anna in this situation that her friend Christina and the doctor who's pushing this as an opportunity to expose it perhaps, or do you think the Reverend is right here in saying we should not be doing this? Where do you fall? Because it's going to affect their role on whether they should do it.
Oh, this is delicious. So just counterbalancing what I'm hearing, I'm hearing occultist faith, which is high degrees of faith in hoodoo, voodoo, wherever it is she's landing with like versed with scientific theory. And I hear and I see this overlap. And I feel like the Reverend is that perfect middle ground between the two extremist points. So I'm siding with the Reverend. I think this is a little too early and it's a little too soon and a little too presumptuous to jump in with any extreme actions.
Okay. Hedges, Christina, and I think with Wendy coming down on the other side, you can still make the roll, but it's going to be with a penalty die.
Oh, God.
So you can still try and convince Anna that to do a ritual here is the right thing to do.
Okay, Christina understands. It's December.
Yes.
It's the evening.
Yes.
Christina's going to nod, agree, understand, and then say, okay, maybe we should do a little bit more investigation, but maybe we should start a fire in the fireplace. It is getting a little cold.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Clara. She calls for Clara. And Clara immediately kind of appears. Christina would like a fire, if that's not too much to ask. Clara immediately goes over, starts the fire, and it takes a minute or two. I imagine you're looking at the drawing, you're looking at the ledger, you're looking at a few things. Obviously, there's no reason why Christina's asked for a fire here. And there's a moment where the fire actually kind of gets sparked and you hear that the ignited sound. But then Clara falls back on her hands and she is like, you see that she's gone white. She's almost crying in shock. And in the fire, you don't see just a fire. You see the shape of an elongated smile in the fire.
Oh, God in heaven.
Can you all give me a quick power roll?
Oh, gosh. God.
Success, 47 versus 55.
Success for the Reverend.
Oh.
Success
Hard
for the
success.
Doctor. Oh, hard success. Failure for Christina. Success for Wendy. Okay, Reverend, Doctor, and Wendy. You see this curved smile, and you just see its mouth open, these fiery teeth, these fiery lips, almost hovering above where the fire should be. You just kind of see it just almost just kind of mouth this word. It just kind of says, release him. Christina, you see this mouth, and this mouth opens to reveal these fiery teeth. But then it almost opens and pulls back and almost consumes the entire world that you are in, that you see around you. And you find yourself for a moment standing at the lake shore. And as you're standing at the lake shore, you can't help but feel scared. Because off to your left, you hear a howl. Howl! And then to your right, howl! In front of you, howl! Behind you, howl! And that is where we're going to end Act 2 of The Castle of Greed. See you next time. Thank you for joining us for Act 2 of The Castle of Greed by Phaedra Florou. If you have enjoyed this episode, then please leave a review wherever you watched or listened to this production. And if you'd like to support us further, please take a look at our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse. Or check out our website at www.miskatonicplayhouse.com and find us on the social media platforms with links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.